Okay, let's begin. Okay, good morning. This morning we are going to read one poem. Actually, this week we are going to two poems. In the title, there is the place name, Byzantium, in both poems. The first poem we are going to do is Sailing to Byzantium, and the second poem is simply Byzantium. And actually, the ideas of both poems had come first. And while he was doing the first poem, he set aside a certain parts of the poem, and later on he went back to it, and he made a poem out of it. Okay, so Byzantium. What kind of country is it? Byzantium. Byzantium. Do you see where Byzantium is? Byzantium. Okay. I'll show you. The ancient city. For the city in the late Roman and the Eastern Roman or Byzantine periods, Byzantium, actually, it was part of Greece, the ancient Greece, right? Was the ancient Greek city on the site that later became Constantinople. Today it's called Istanbul in Turkey, right? Istanbul. It was founded by Greek colonists from Megra, and 657 BC, the city was rebuilt and re-inaugurated as the new capital of the Roman Empire by the Emperor Constantine the first in 330 AD, and subsequently renamed Constantinople. The city remained the capital of the Byzantine Empire until 1453, when it was conquered and became the capital of the Ottoman Empire. Since the establishment of modern Turkey in 1923, the Turkish name of the city, Istanbul, has replaced the name Constantinople in the West. So this is the Byzantium. And Yeats was fascinated by this Byzantine art. And in the poem, you see the images of birds, the saints, Lawson ladies, and dolphins, and like that. And the primary color, the main color in the Byzantine art is what? Everything was made of gold. So golden. So we'll have a look. Okay, Byzantine art. Okay, a beautiful icon, right? Mosaic, right? Byzantine art is the artistic products of the Eastern Roman or Byzantine Empire, as well as the nations and states that inherited culturally from the empire. Though the empire itself emerged from Rome's decline and lasted until the fall of Constantinople, 1453, many Eastern Orthodox states in Eastern Europe, as well as to some degree the Muslim states of the Eastern Mediterranean, preserved many aspects of the empire's culture and art for centuries afterward. Many states contemporary with Byzantine Empire were culturally influenced by it, without actually being part of it. Such as Bulgaria, Serbia, and Rus, as well as some non-Orthodox states, the Republic of Venice and Kingdom of Sicily, which had close ties to the Byzantine Empire despite being in other respects part of Western European culture. Art produced by Eastern Orthodox Christians living in the Ottoman Empire is called post-Byzantine. Certain artistic traditions that originate in the Byzantine Empire, particularly in regard to icon painting and church architecture, are maintained in Greece, Serbia, Bulgaria, Macedonia, Russia, and other Eastern Orthodox countries to the present day. So, okay. lower left, right? Mosaic. Okay, mosaic. Okay, here. You see? The saints, right? On the wall, right? All of them golden, right? Gold, right? Unfortunately, we can't see the birds, right? And dolphin here, right? Okay. Okay, let's go to the poem, and I'm going to read both of the poem here in order to have a sense of what it is, what they are. Okay. Sailing to Byzantium. There is no country for old men, the young in one another's arms, birds in the trees, those dying generations at their song. The salmon falls, the mackerel crowd the seas, fish, flash or fowl, command all summer long, whatever is begotten, born and dies. Caught in the essential music, all neglect monuments of amazing intellect. There is no country for old man. Which country? There is no, and actually, where is H here? There is no country. There is no country for old man. He didn't say this is no country for old man. If he said this is no country, then he is in Ireland. But there is no country. Still, where is H? He is in Byzantium already. Actually, physically, he must be in Ireland, right? But his mind is living what? In Byzantium. Physically, he is in Ireland. So he didn't say, this is no country, because his mind is in that country, in this country. This country means what? Byzantium. So there is no country for old men. The young people, young bird, young animals, the young, and one another's arms, the young people, young birds in the trees, the birds in the trees at their song. Those dying generations, the salmon falls, the mackerel crowd the seas, fish, flash or fowl, command all summer long, whatever is begotten, born and dies. Caught in the essential music, all of these, right? All of these. The young people, birds, salmon falls, the mackerel crowd the seas, all, right? All neglect monuments of an aging intellect. Amazing intellect. What does it mean by amazing intellect? Monuments of amazing intellect. Amazing intellect. Okay. Second stanza. An aged man is but a paltry thing. A very powerful image. An aged man is only a paltry thing. An aged man is but a paltry thing. A tattered coat upon a stick. Stronger image, right? A tattered coat upon a stick. Have you seen a scarecrow? Scarecrow? In Korean, haswabi, right? Scarecrow, have you seen? Stick and then tattered coat, right? The old man looks like a scarecrow, right? A tattered coat upon a stick. Actually, he is comparing himself to a scarecrow, right? He is an old man. He was 60 when he was writing this poem. He was 60 or 61. So an aged man is but a paltry thing. a tattered coat upon a stick, unless soul clap its hand and sing, soul clap its hand and sing, and louder sing, sing more loudly, louder sing, for every tatter in its mortal dress. So now you can understand the amazing intellect. He's talking about what? Intellect, spirit, never aging, none, right? So, louder sing for every tatter in its mortal dress, nor is there singing school but studying the monuments of his own magnificence. And therefore, I have sailed the seas and come to the holy city of Byzantium. So where is he? He is in Byzantium. I have sailed. So from the very beginning, in the first stanza, he was what? Where was he? He is now in Byzantium. Of course, imaginatively, physically he is in Holland, right? He's making this song and he's composing this poem in Holland. Stanza 2. Stanza 3. Oh, Caesar standing in the God's holy fire. You see, remember the inside the basilica, Saint Mark's Basilica in Venice, right? Oh, Caesar standing in God's holy fire, as in the gold mosaic of a wall. The gold mosaic of a wall. Come from the holy fire, burn in the fire. He's addressing the holy, the sages, right? The saints, right, on the wall, right? He's asking them to come down. Come from the holy fire, burn in a gyre, turn in a gyre, turn in a circle, right? Burn in a gyre, and be the singing masters of my soul. Be the singing masters of my soul. What does it mean? He wants to write a poem, a great poem. So please help me, right? Consume my heart away. Consume my heart away. Consume, right? Eat my heart away, right? Consume my heart away. Sick with desire and fasten to a dying animal. Sick with desire and fasten to a dying animal. Sick with desire, what does it mean? What is the meaning of this? He was sick and his wife was young, right? When he got married, he was 52 and he's now 60 and he's sick. And, but still, he suffers from desire. He has strong desire, sexual desire, right? But sick with desire and fastened to a dying animal, it knows, what does it means? My soul, right? It knows not what it is. And gather me into the artifice of eternity. Beautiful, right? Gather me into the artifice of eternity. What does it mean? He wants to be part of the artwork, right? Oh. Gather me into the artifice of eternity. Okay, the last stanza, stanza 4. Once out of nature, I shall never take my bodily form from any natural thing. Have you heard of this idea? Right? Do you want to born again? Do you want to get into the world again after death? What do you think? You have suffered enough, right? Right? So the highest aim for the Buddhist is what? Never to be born again, right? Right? Very interesting idea. Eh? Once out of nature, I shall never take my bodily form from any natural thing, but such a form as Grecian goldsmiths make. I'd like to take such a form, right? such a form as Grecian goldsmiths make. Greek, right? Greek. The Grecian goldsmiths make. Make of what? Make of hammered gold and gold enameling. Hammered gold and gold enameling to keep a drowsy emperor awake. To keep a drowsy emperor awake. Or set upon a golden bough to sing to lords and ladies of Byzantium of what is past or passing or to come. Fantastic poem, right? Very beautiful poem. Actually, there is a sequel, another poem, the second poem, sequel to this poem. Byzantium. Okay. A few years later, he wrote this poem. He completed this poem. Byzantium. The unpurged images of my day recede. The unpurged images of the day recede. Okay, the title is Byzantium. What does it mean? Where is the poet now? He is in Byzantium, right? He is talking about Byzantium. He's describing Byzantium here, okay? Byzantium. The unpurged images of the day recede. The emperor's drunken soldiery are bad. The emperor's drunken soldiers, right? Soldiers are bad. They are in bed now, right? They are sleeping. Night resonance recedes. Night resonance recedes. At night, the sound echoes louder, right? So even that it is receding, right? Night resonance recedes. Night walker's song. Night walker's song. Night walkers, who are they? Night walker's song. After great cathedral gone. A starlit or a moonlit dawn disdains all that is, all that man is. A starlit or a moonlit dawn disdains all that man is. All mere complexities, all mere complexities. The fury and the mire of human veins. So, the dawn, the starlit dawn disdains everything that is human, right? All mere complexities. The fury and the mire of human veins. The fury and the mire of human veins. Mire? Mire. Before me floats an image. Before me floats an image. Man or a shade. Shade more than man. More image than a shade. For haze bobbin bound in mummy clothes. Haze bobbin, right? Haze is better than hell, right? But haze, right? But it's still part of hell. Haze bobbin, bound in mummy clothes, may unwind the winding path. The winding path. A mouth that has no moisture and no breath. Breathless mouth may summon. Breathless mouth may summon a mouth that has no moisture and no breath. Right? I hail the superhuman. I hail the superhuman. I call it death in life, life in death. This reminds me of Coleridge, the Ancient Mariner, right? Did you read Coleridge's The Ancient Mariner? It's a very strange poem, long poem, right? I call it death in life and life in death. Miracle, bird or golden handiwork, more miracle than bird or handiwork, planted on the starlit golden bough. The same image as in the previous poem, sailing to Byzantium, right? So, planted on the starlit golden bough. Can, like the cocks of haze, crow. Can crow like the cocks of haze. Or bitter by the moon embittered, bittered by the moon, right? Or by the moon embittered, scorn aloud. In glory of changeless metal, common bores or paddle, and all complexities of mire or blood. Very powerful stanza, right? Imagery, right? At midnight, on the emperor's pavement, fleet flames. Flames fly. Flames fleet by, fleet. What kind of flames is it? Flames that no faggot fears, right? No twigs or faggot, no faggot fears, nor steel has lit. What kind of flame is it? The flames in haze, the flames in hell, right? Is not burning. The flame, they are not burning, right? They are burning, but it nor storm disturbs. Nor storm disturbs. Flames begotten of flame, flames begotten of flame, where blood begotten spirits come and all complexed of my fury leave, die into a dance, an agony of trance, an agony of flame that cannot cease, cannot singe of sleep. So in here, can you die? In haze, can you die? No. You stay in this state forever. You suffer forever, right? Astraddle on the dolphin's mire and blood, spirit after spirit. The smithies break the flood. Smithies? What smithies? The Grecian smithies, right? Artwork, right? They make, the smithies break the flood. The golden smithies of the emperor, marbles of dancing floor, break bitter furies of complexity. Those images that yet fresh images beget. Those images that beget yet fresh images. That dolphin tone, that gone tormented sea. Very, very colorful images, right? And more complex than the poem Sailing to Byzantium, right? Okay. We are going to go back to Sailing to Byzantium. We are going to read the first part of the essay on these two poems, okay? Okay. Okay, the main idea of this essay is like this. W.B. Yeats, William Butler Yeats, is Sailing to Byzantium and Byzantium. It draw almost all major critics' attention. So almost all these scholars, critics talk about this poem. In these two poems, there appear both Yeats's ultimate visions of Byzantium and his idea of what an artist is to be, but critics tend to read the two poems separately. Almost no critics and scholars have dealt with these two poems at the same time. Very strange, right? Which will not reveal the true meanings the poet wants to convey, despite the fact that both poems have a common root. This paper attempts to point out this neglect and compare Sailing to Byzantium, by making connections between them and by keeping an eye on the key images, in particular, the image of the golden bird, both in the country and Byzantium in the two Byzantine poems. This paper concludes that these two poems are to extol artist artifacts and their differences, and the difference results from Yeats' change in view of life in different health conditions. Okay, section 1. Yeats is regarded as one of the best modernist poets of the last century. And his two poems, Sailing to Byzantium and Byzantium, seem to have drawn almost all major critics' attention. In these poems, there appear glimpses of Yeats' ultimate visions of heaven in the form of Byzantium, and of his supreme theory of art or of poetry. This is why we pay attention to these poems. But in general, critics tend to read the two poems independently. However, it seems to be insufficient to study each of them separately because the two have originated from a single root. This paper attempts to point out this neglect and compare Sailing to Byzantium, studying both poems in an effort to understand the mind and heart of a great poet working on the poems. One of the main reasons that the critics discuss them separately may be that they were published separately. Sailing to Byzantium was published in 1927, and The Tower, its first typescript, Toward Byzantium. The original title was Toward Byzantium, was dated 26 September 1926, and was first published as Sailing to Byzantium in 1927 in October Blast. Bradford, a scholar, one of scholars, Bradford provides the dates of this poem's completion publication referring to Ellen Way's letters. In dating this letter, Ellen Way supplied the year 1927. I think the letter was written in 1926. It'll fit with the 1926 letters between the letters of 24th September and 7th December. The first complete TS, timescript, TS of Sailing Byzantium, quoted below, is dated in Yeats's hand, 26 September 1927. In October 1927, after Sailing Byzantium had been printed in October Blast, Yeats wouldn't have written that he had just finished it. If I'm right about the date of this letter, the poem was then far from being the poem we know. It was in the state found in the revised typescript of Toward Byzantium. Meanwhile, Byzantium 1930 is in the Winding Stairs and Other Poems, 1933, published in 1933. The first prose draft of Byzantium was dated 30th April 1930 and published in 1933, because when Sailing to Byzantium was being drafted, and Byzantium was to take parts of the images and ideas of Sailing to Byzantium. It is important to pay close attention to following all the drafts and the changes made in the course of the first poem being completed. Okay, section 2. Why should we read Sailing to Byzantium as if they were one single poem? First and foremost, such reading will shed new light on each poem. For one thing, if we read them separately, the speaker in Sailing to Byzantium seems to talk about immutability, changelessness, right, of the artifice of eternity, in contrast to mortal life, while the speaker in Byzantium talks about mutability of life scorned by the bird, in glory of changed metal. But if we look into and compare the poems more closely, we will learn that the twin poems both long for mutability of life and permanence of life art as well. This reading is justified by the very fact that the key images or images, ideas that had already been in Yeats's mind when he initially was writing the first poem, Sailing to Byzantium. Secondly, it was a casual comment made by his friend Sturgemoor that kindled Yeats's imagination again, which led him to write still another Byzantium poem. Yeats wrote Byzantium 4 years after he had written Sailing to Byzantium. He wrote down a subject for Byzantium on 30th April 1930, a fortnight after he had received T. Sturgemoor's letter of April 6, 1930. His friend Moore's letter says, "Your Sailing to Byzantium, your poem, Sailing to Byzantium, though magnificent as the first three stanzas are, let me down in the fourth stanza. As such a goldsmith's bird is as much nature as man's body." Right? Eventually, the artifact will be destroyed, right? Like humans, right? Especially if it only sings like Homer and Shakespeare of what is past or passing, or to come to lords and ladies. In preparation for sailing to Byzantium, Yeats had worked on 19 different sheets, manuscripts and typescripts. Remember, 19 different drafts. While it had been drafted, some images had sprung and had been put aside. Those images reprised their role in Byzantium 4 years later. In reply to Moore's comment, Yeats said that the idea needed exposition. The idea that the bird of artifice is as much nature as a man's body. Therefore, second poem, Byzantium, was written in part for an exposition of the idea. In view of this background, we can now see why the two poems have parallels in form, mood, and content. And it can be said that the sequel, Byzantium, is a versification of the same theme, mutability of life, in relation to permanence of art. Compared with Sailing to Byzantium, this poem has developed further, for instance, from the simple to the complex, from a human body movement to a wholly human movement. Critics reading these two poems tend to concentrate on Yeats's biography and honest drafts of these poems. If a poem's beauty and meaning reside in its form and substance, we should pay attention to its final form as well. These two poems have supremely beautiful form, and they yield various readings. Critics give different, often conflicting interpretation of Byzantium. An eminent critic, Daniel Albright, praises the second poem. Yeats's Byzantium pushes speech to its limit in order to point at the unspeakable. Almost all critics touch on these two poems, and one critic, however, thinks these two poems are not that easy to grasp. John Stallworthy thinks no matter how you approach the Byzantium poems, Yeats's Byzantium is just beyond the range of sight. Despite his warning, Stallworthy's painstaking attempts to trace Yeats's mind working on these two poems culminate in much insight. Okay, section 3. Sailing to Byzantium and Byzantium seem to have four main points of view. The protagonist wishes to be, the speaker wishes to be a golden bird, symbol of the artifice of eternity. Stanza 8, sailing to Byzantium, okay. Or the protagonist wishes to remind us of a bird or a golden handiwork and of the cocks of haze, which symbolizes resurrection. The poet in the first poem is dreaming of a world, Byzantium, exempt from the usual sadness of life. But the golden bird is nothing but the eidolon of the transformed poet in it. The second poem displays images such as mummy, a bird made of metal, a self-sustaining flame, a statue. But no image can constitute itself with any durability or precision. The two poems represent the vulnerability of the very artifact, which symbolizes immutability, whose destruction is merely deferred as in 1919. We have already read the poem, that 1919. Byzantium in these two poems is seen as instrumental in giving direction and movement to human life and perception, and as completely isolated from any kind of real experience. These readings are noteworthy and help us come in contact with some essence of the two poems. There is a further point to make. Yeats wishes to create a perfect artwork, though it will perish over time. To create is to stand against time, levering all on earth. It is a heroic act of an artist. More important, Yeats' vision of heaven exists in Byzantium, which no longer is here, but in the past. The act of creating a past and future world is heaven itself. The thing itself constitutes visions of heaven. Once we have agreed that this is the very meaning of these two poems, then we must have in mind both the final form and the two-poem form being created and refined. It is in particular necessary that reading these two poems, The reader should keep an eye on their form for their emotional and aesthetic effect upon them. Yeats defends sailing to Byzantium by using a word exposition, when Moore has expressed some reservation about the golden bird being eternal. Moore draws attention to the inevitable destruction of the artifact, like the death of a natural bird. As poet also agrees to it above, Yeats must in fact have wanted to wish to say that the speaker bird Grecian goldsmiths make and set upon a golden bar will sing of what is past, or passing, or to come, as the cycle of nature, or whether the artificial bird is eternal or not, as the singing itself constitutes visions of heaven. So this is my point, and I'm going to talk about it on Thursday, right? Okay, I'll finish here. Okay, we'll take 10 minutes break.